Okay, there has been a bunch of comedians that are now facing backlash, including Dave Chappelle, who, I think one of my favorite comedians. I know he's not Christian and he uses profanity, but are facing criticism for doing a massive performance in Saudi Arabia. Okay, so Saudi Arabia, I think they're trying to change their image. They're trying to make it more about tourism and not just oil money. And why is this significant? Well, because there's some strong overlap between folks potentially in the Saudi government and their connection to 9/11, allegedly. Okay, and there's been lawsuits about that and potential restitution payments to the folks in 9/11, so on and so forth. So the fact remains that even outside of that, they are a pretty fairly oppressive regime. So a bunch of comedians got paid a lot of money to go and do this comedy festival, and they're drawing a lot of criticism. So this is all sides, by the way, kind of putting together the best of both worlds. So it says comedian Dave Chappelle made headlines for criticizing American free speech during his Saturday performance at Saudi Arabia's comedy festival. Okay, this is hilarious. The fact that he made headlines for criticizing America's free speech while being at a Saudi Arabia. Oh, that's great. According to the New York Times, Chappelle said, right now in America, they say if you talk about Charlie Kirk, that you'll get canceled. I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to find out. The Times said he was met with applause when he said it's easier to talk here than it is in America. That's an interesting claim from Dave Chappelle. I mean, look, I don't know what he said about Charlie Kirk, but it definitely seems like he feels like he can't talk freely about what he wants to talk about. I don't know what this is implying. We could try to look this up together. But yeah, that's the claim that he made, that it's easier to talk in Saudi Arabia than it is in America. And of course, New York Times loves this, right? Because it's like, yeah, they're going to talk about Charlie Kirk, So I don't know. I don't know what he meant. I don't know if he's talking about, hey, because of the crazy backlash that Charlie Kirk's assassination has caused in terms of some folks on the left in celebration of him, or what, right? Like, I don't know. But let's keep looking. It says several American comedians, including Kevin Hart, Pete Davidson, Louis C.K., and Bill Burr performed at the festival, which runs from September 26th to October 9th. The festival is part of a wider ongoing initiative by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman named Vision 2030, under which the kingdom aims to attract more tourists and investors and diversify its largely oil-dependent economy. Tim Dillon was initially slated to perform at the festival and said, I'm the only honest person who's going to do it. I'm going to be paid a lot of money to not care what they do in their country. A shout out to Tim Dillon, who kept it a buck and was later dropped. He said he was dropped from the lineup by its organizers for making slavery jokes about migrant workers in Saudi Arabia. Okay, this is amazing. The controversy has drawn criticism from some other popular comedians. David Cross described many of the performers as people he admires with unarguable talent, but they were performing literally the most oppressive regime on earth. Shane Gillis said on his podcast that he turned down a significant amount of money that the festival offered to double. Shout out to Shane Gillis for standing 10 toes down. That the festival offered to double because he said, I took a principled stand. You don't 9/11 your friends. This is great. How the media covered it across the spectrum were critical of and highlighted criticisms of the comedians who performed at the festival. So it seems like it was fairly covered across the board, right? Media across the platform also included context. And by the way, not sure if you know, but I'm actually going on tour for my first ever tour across the country, and the waiting list is available for you to sign up to be the very first to get a secret code to get tickets when they go on sale. So Houston, Texas, March 21st, Dallas, Texas. No, Saudi Arabia is not on my lineup of cities. 22nd, Chicago is April 10th. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, April 12th. Arlington, Virginia, the DC area, April 25th. New York City, Manhattan, April 26th. LA, May 9th. And Clearwater, Florida, May 15th. And Atlanta, Georgia, May 16th. So the link is pinned up. Find your city, find the city nearest to you, hit join the wait list, put in your information, and you will be the first to get the access to the tickets before they go public. Okay, let's come back to this topic.
When a hero stumbles, Well, the cowards rejoice.
Okay, so that clip's been going viral. This is not Dave Chappelle in Saudi Arabia, even though it's packaged around Dave Chappelle saying this allegedly about Charlie Kirk. This isn't that. I think this is an old clip.
Nothing feels better to a coward than to watch a brave guy fall. And these people that talk about me, these cowards that rejoice.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with Charlie Kirk. So let's see if we can find any information about the quote regarding Charlie Kirk. I think that's the only quote we have to work off of, is that he just said, there's more freedom of speech in Saudi than in America, which I think is a wild statement to say. But yeah, let's see if we can find anything else here. As comedians Bill Burr and Kevin Hart were slammed for performing during his performance, Chappelle's show said, right now in America, they say if you talk about Charlie Kirk, you'll get canceled. I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to find out. 52-year-old native repeatedly said he was nervous about returning to the U.S. because they're going to do something to me so that I can't say what I want to say. It's easier to talk here than it is in America, he added. His set, it's hard to tell, is this a joke? Like, is he joking about this? I don't know. And maybe he's joking about this with regards to the Jimmy Kimmel Live situation. Okay. Maybe it's not a joke. Maybe it's, Jimmy Kimmel makes a joke, quote unquote, I think is a bit of misinformation and therefore got canceled. Global organization Human Rights Watch accused the festival of diverting attention away from allegations of the government's severe repression of free speech and criticized comedians for performing on behest of the oppressive regime. The festival was also slammed for overlapping with the 7th anniversary of the murder of Washington Post columnist Jamal, Saudi national U.S. resident who was killed inside the Saudi consulate in Istanbul on October 18th. They say that was an inside job, allegedly. Fellow comedian Burr defended the performance in his episode of Monday Morning Podcast, calling it one of the top 3 experiences of his career. Well, I'm sure he was paid well, probably top 3 paydays. It was a great experience. It was great to experience that part of the world and to be a part of the first comedy festival over there in Saudi Arabia. The royals loved the show. Everyone was happy. The people that were doing the festival were thrilled. Okay, so anyway, what do you guys think about this, man? I think it's a little sus, if I'm honest with you. You guys would be shocked. I mean, listen, I just come on here and just share my thoughts. And when I say anything that is slightly empathetic of the Israel's right to defend themselves.
Oh, you guys paying $7,000 to Ruslan in the pockets of Israel. $7,000.
Just like real dumb, low IQ people, right, that are dropping this. And I've repeatedly told you guys straight up, I have never gotten a dime from Israel, ever. Now, I get invited to go all the time. But even when I went in 2022, 3 years ago, I wasn't compensated. They covered my flights and my hotels. So this idea that people who share their opinion online that are dismissed as being in the pocket of someone for just sharing their opinion, yet comedians go to Saudi Arabia, which is a very questionable country, and are actually paid probably double their rate, like Shane Gillis was offered. People are like, oh, it's cool, it's all good. So I don't know. It's just interesting where we point our frustrations too. Like, this is cool to do when it's your heroes and your comedy people, but when it's like someone's just sharing their opinion with no financial incentive, nah, they can't do that. And so anyway, if you want to help me continue sharing my opinion however I want to, this video is brought to you by our very own Bless God shop and the collection that we just put out, the Godly Ambition collection. The piece I'm wearing, you could shop the collection. You could also check out some of our journals and devos. This is a great way to partner with us so that I don't got to go get that Saudi Arabia money, right? So I could just be here doing what I love to do, giving my thoughts. Hit the link in the pinned comment. Pick up some new Godly Ambition merch. Sign up for the waiting list of the tour. And come hang out with your guy and see me in person. All right? Peace.